Hi, Morgana from 4-Inch Cats, and today we're going to be looking at two different ways to play C major and E minor on a Chicago tuned instrument, which could be a baritone ukulele or a tenor guitar. So when we first start to play chords, we generally play them down here in what's called an open position. Great. So why would we want to play them further up the neck? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, the sound is slightly different because we're playing the notes in the chord in a slightly different order. So if you have a listen, open position, closed. Okay, it's not a fully closed chord because on all occasions actually, the E note at the bottom is ringing. But if I was to play just the top three strings, bottom three strings, I always get confused. You can hear the difference on the C major. With the four strings. So sound is one thing. Control is also another thing. If I'm plucking C major in open position, if I want to mute or stop the strings ringing, I'm going to have to use this hand. If I'm up here, I can actually use my left hand to mute them, not having to use the right hand. So I've got more control over the chord in that position. And a lot of times it's just personal preference. I prefer to play higher up the neck because I like the sound of it. Also, as we get older, for some of us, chords become more of a challenge. And for me, my hands find it easier to play higher up the neck than it does all the way down here. Just because the chord formations are different. So again, that's part of my personal preference, but it might be something you want to take into consideration as well. So let's get into the chords. C major. This is one you're probably familiar with. You can see from the chord formation box that's appeared conveniently in this video. Here's our standard open position C chord. To move to our A minor chord, it's fairly simple. Now to play it in the next position, I'm going to be placing my fingers on the 5th fret on strings 2, 3 and 4, and I'm leaving my first string, my E string, open, and there's my C major. And you might almost think of that as the A position fingering, because if we're playing an A down here, but up here on the 5th fret, your fingers are in the same place, although you're on a 5th fret now, not the 2nd fret. But it's that kind of a finger formation. Now to move to my E minor, what I'm doing is I'm going from my A finger position to what I tend to think of as a D7 position. Because if I'm down here, it's a D7. But if I'm up here, it's roughly the same hand formation, finger formation. So I've got my 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. I've got my pointy finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And I've got my ring finger on the 5th fret on the 2nd string. Bit confusing. I'm not great at actually calling that out, so please do have a look at the chord formation here and you'll see it. Now you might have noticed that these two notes, 2nd string, 1st string, are the same and they're both actually an E. And you can also see that on the diagram. So to go from my C major minor, C major, E minor. Let's compare that back to our open position. C major, E minor. So there you have it, 2 options for playing both C major and E minor. Now you're probably thinking, what am I going to do with this? And it's a bit hard in this first lesson to maybe see where we're going down this alternative chord voicing journey, but stick with it. And next lesson we'll be building on this to look at 2 more chords that we can take from our open position further up the neck. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have, please hit the like button, perhaps consider subscribing. If I can get the words out, consider subscribing. It really helps out my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And until next time, have fun with those chords.